Hey warriors, welcome. So good to have you here for the Repair, Restore and Retrain session. I think before we start, it'll be good to go over a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, hi, I'm Eliza. If you do have any questions during this session, then do feel free to use the little chat box if you are here doing it live. I know that some of you are going to be joining me later. But as well, if you do have any questions, feel free to message me on the Warriors Live WhatsApp group. There's two WhatsApp groups. One is Warriors Live and one is the normal Warriors WhatsApp group. And the Warriors Live is specifically for those who are doing online classes. Message me if you've got any questions, just hit me up with them. We've also got Neve who's in there, and Neve is fantastic because she is a women's health physio. So if you're experiencing any issues with pelvic floor, any heaviness or things don't feel quite right, then it's a good idea to drop her a message and see what she says. There's a couple of things also I need to mention. The first is don't push through any pain. So if anything is hurting, please, please, please don't go, it's cool, I can do this, I gave birth. Screw this goddamn pain in my knee, I'm just going to keep going. Don't do that, take a break from it. If it does persist through some of these exercises, then again, please do message me because I'm here ready to answer any of your questions, as is Neve as well. And then it means that, say, for future classes, I can take that into consideration, and you can also understand a bit more about your body and how it's working, and things that it likes and things that it doesn't. Also, as you might be able to hear in the background, I've got a couple of cats. The cats love being up here. They love kind of walking across the screen, so please make them welcome. I hope you guys like cats. I might have to open the door so that she can get outside. As well as two cats, I've also got two children. One is 3.5 and one is 2. And last week the 3.5 basically decided to join me for the end part of the session. I'm really sorry. I hope that was okay, but just to let you know, it might happen again because, hey, I'm a parent, I have kids. It's really hard to keep them locked up in little rooms. What else do I need to tell you? Get some water. Make sure you've got some water ready on standby. Also, grab a mat and have that rolled out on the ground. If you don't have a mat, then you can use some kind of a carpet as well, but please just make sure it's not too skiddy. Also during this session, we are going to be using some light weights. So I've got myself a couple of cans. If you do have light weights, then say a 0.5 kilo to 1 kilo, maybe 1.5 kilos. If you're feeling super strong, those also work. I think that's it. I wanted first of all to start, we normally start with a little bit of breathing and we're still going to do that, but I just wanted to start with something that I've been doing recently. So I know a lot of us suffer from pain through this part of the neck, and it's mainly caused because we're slouching over here and these neck muscles just get short and really tight. And if this happens a lot, you can often get things like headaches, you can get tight jaws, it just doesn't feel very nice. So if that's happening to you, here is a quick 30-second tip. Grab yourselves a hard ball. I've got something that's a physio ball, but it's kind of a bit like a lacrosse ball. Tennis balls also work really well as well. And you want to place it, find your clavicle, so your collarbone. You've got the little bony bit just here, which reaches all the way up to your shoulder, and chuck that ball, pressing it in, not too much, into that little triangular space that you've got just up here, and tip the head over to that same side, twist that ball in a little bit, and that just gathers up the muscle. And looking up and down and all around, getting your head to rotate in all sorts of different ways is really, really just going to help free up that muscle. Muscles can get a little bit sticky sometimes, so this can really help you. Don't press the ball in too hard because there are certain nerves and big blood vessels that we have down there. And literally, if you just do it for 2 minutes on either side, don't forget to swap sides, you will notice the difference. Let me know if you try it. I'd love to hear how you found it. But let's get started. So we're going to start sitting in a cross-legged position. So when I say cross-legged, I don't really mean cross-legged. What I mean is I'm going to make sure that we can see both of our ankles here. So for those of you that often sit with your ankles crossed, I don't really like that much, mainly because as soon as you sit with your ankles like this, your spine has to compensate to try and keep you sitting up straight, and your pelvis isn't level. So by sitting where you can see both of your ankle bones, you know that you are in a better position to have a more level pelvis, and therefore your spine will be sitting up nice and straight too. If you find you've got a bit of an issue through these knees, then you can grab a cushion or two just to help support them underneath here. And that might make this experience a bit more comfy for you. Another thing I want to mention is I really like us to try and sit up nice and tall when we're in this position. And coming onto the side, a lot of us, when we sit up nice and tall, and do take a look at yourself in the screen if you can, a lot of us when we sit up nice and tall, we do this thing where we lean forwards. And as soon as we do this, our ribs are going to flare out a little bit. We're going to lose a little bit of activation through that core. And we're stretching some muscles that we're not wanting to stretch. So just make sure you're sitting up nice and vertical. We also might have a tendency to tip our head forward slightly. Just make sure that chin is down, almost like you're trying to give yourselves a double chin. And you can immediately see that I've got a bit more of a straightness through my spine. So if you're from here, just imagine just dropping those ribs in slightly, drop those ribs internally. That will automatically just help straighten up here and get you engaging a little bit through those core muscles as well. But let's get started. If you want to, you can have your hands in your lap or on your knees. Sit up nice and tall. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes as well. And I just want you to breathe in and out, trying to get as much air into your lungs as you can, and trying to get as much air out of your lungs as you can too. So I don't mind how you're breathing at the moment, just do what feels most natural. And whilst you're breathing in this way, also have a think about what's going on with the rest of your body. Are you carrying any tension anywhere? When you're taking your deep breath in, what is moving in your body? Are you your shoulders? Are you breathing into the top part of your ribs, the bottom part, or into your belly? And again, also have a think about what's going on as you breathe out. How are you breathing in and out? Through the nose, through the mouth, a mixture of both. We're just looking here now to reconnect with our body. Continue to sit up nice and tall. And just take a few moments seeing what your body is doing. I'm now going to invite you just to start breathing in and out through the nose. And every single time you breathe in now, just breathe into that belly. So as you're breathing into your belly, let the belly expand out to the front and to the sides until it can go no further out, and then you're going to start opening up through that lower portion of the ribs. And you're going to breathe into the front, to the sides, and most importantly, the back of those ribs as well. We have a lot of lung capacity that increases even more so when we breathe into the back of the ribs. So just focusing on your inhale now, breathing deeply, relaxing through the belly as we take that breath right the way down into our body, expanding to the front and to the sides before we then start opening up through the front to the sides and the back of the ribs as well. As soon as we can't take any more of a breath in, that's when you're going to start breathing out. Have a few more breaths here, getting to understand how your body is working. And now we're also going to focus on your exhale. As breathing out, just imagine you're rolling up a tube of toothpaste. Just starting with those muscles round by the pelvis and the hips. Imagine you're just gently engaging those muscles, rolling everything up all the way, squeezing that air out from your lungs, right from the bottom before your lungs even start, all the way up. Good. Let's continue doing this, taking really deep breaths in towards the belly, expanding through the belly before you take it through the ribs. And as you're breathing out through the nose, you're gently going to start engaging through these lower abdominals. Imagine tightening and squeezing and activating. Trying to draw out as much air as you can. When you get to the ribs, you're just going to close them off, squeezing out even more air from those lungs. We're going to introduce a time to this now. So you're going to breathe in for a count of 4. And you're going to breathe out for a count of 8. So you've got the timer on. Use the timer to make note of the breath. Taking a deep breath in through the nose for a count of 4. Filling up the belly, expanding through those ribs. And as you breathe out, you're going to breathe out for a count of 8. So we're currently doing what's known as 1-2 breathing. If you find that's too hard, take it down to 3 and 6, where you're breathing in for 3 and breathing out for 6. If you want to, you can try and improve, take it up to an inhale of 5 and breathe out for 10. We're always looking to improve, so whether that's increasing your count or increasing the quality of the breath, always look just to improve that tiny bit more with every single breath. Keep the muscles around the face nice and soft. Keep the shoulders down, continue sitting up tall, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Don't forget that as we're breathing out, we're squeezing that tube of toothpaste, gently activating through those lower core muscles. You want to make this exercise even more effective, and as you breathe out, just gently engage that pelvic floor, gathering in from back to front, side to side, and lifting the whole thing up through the body. It makes a really powerful activation. Take a few more breaths here. It's fantastic just for calming down your body, reconnecting your mind together with your physical self. And after you've had our babies, it can be really hard to work out what's going on. You might find it hard to feel pelvic floor contractions. You might find it hard to feel those deep core muscles. If you can't feel anything, don't worry, it will come, I promise you. This is something you can also practice at home if ever you're feeling particularly stressed out. Just take a few minutes just to do some of this breathing, even if the kids are kicking off. Try and improve the quality of the next couple of breaths. And at the end of your exhale, gently going to open those eyes. And we're going to take both arms up above the head. All right. We've got someone else who's joined us. Hello. Hi, Vaishnavi. Can you hear me? Let's see if Vaishnavi is going to be joining us. Right. I will continue and move my mat back slightly. Let me also make sure she's not messaged me as well. No. No messages yet. Okay, let's take. Oh, hi, Vaishnavi. Connecting to audio. Let's see if we can hear her. Hi. Hello. Oh, she's gone. Right, guys, so we're going to try and continue. Let's see if she comes back on. We're going to take both arms up towards the ceiling. We want to lift ourselves up as high as we can. Stretch, stretch, stretch all the way up. And from here, just going to use the hand to grab your wrist. I'm going to take a little stretch over to one side. So I'm going to hold this here. Hi, Vaishnavi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, not bad, thank you.
Yeah, so I wanted to dial in to say that I can't do the session right now.
Okay.
But I saw that there is an.
Okay, we're back on it. Vaishnavi is going to be joining us later. Really looking forward to all of those of you who will be joining later too. Right, so we're going to take these arms up towards the ceiling. We're going to grab that arm and we're going to lift up and over. Really want to have a good stretch down through that side of our body. When you're doing this stretch as well, just make sure that both your shoulders are level. We do sometimes have a tendency to drop that shoulder closest to the ground slightly back. So just make sure that we are doing a side bend here. We're not twisting or rotating through the spine. Cool. Let's take it all the way back up to the center. We're going to use our hand as well, just to reach and pull up that arm before we take a little bit of a bend over to the side. Now, if you've had any kind of, stitches, so if you've had any vaginal stitches for tearing or an episiotomy, or if you've had any C-section stitches as well, you might notice that when you do that exercise, there might be a little bit of pulling or tenderness either down here or up through this area. If that is the case, then I really do urge you to look at C-section scar tissue massage. But let's roll the shoulders forwards. Let's roll the shoulders back, trying to get as much movement through them as we can. Good. We're going to drop that right ear towards the right shoulder. Right hand's going to come up just to elevate and increase that stretch. We're going to drive through with the heel of the other hand. And we're just going to lift up that arm. So you should feel a real nerve stretch through that stretched out hand. And we're just going to start taking your gaze towards your armpit. Sounds silly, but it's just going to help us increase the stretch. Hold this here for a few breaths. And let's take it up and over to the other side. So drop that ear towards the shoulder rather than taking the shoulder up towards the ear. Hand just comes down to increase the stretch. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Drive through the heel of the hand, and we're going to pull the fingers back, and we're going to take that arm up roughly to shoulder height. The last thing we do is we're going to take the gaze down towards the armpit. Good. And we're going to release. Take it all the way back up. Coming on now onto all fours. Some cat-cows. So from this position, just first of all to make sure that we are pressing away from the ground. We can often have a tendency to sink into this position. That's not what we want to do. So press against the ground, try and have a neutral back to start off with. So if I was going to relax through here, this is what my cow position would look like. There is no need to try and crunch through that lower back and increase the stretch down here. We don't need to stretch this area out. So when we come into our cow, go into a neutral back position. So just relaxing through here. Take the gaze up towards the ceiling, and now as we breathe out, we're going to take the chin in towards the chest, and we're going to start curling our back up towards the ceiling. Good. So you're going to gather your belly button in towards your spine, and you're going to release and take your gaze up towards the ceiling. So we're going to breathe out now. We're going to breathe out. We're going to draw our belly button in towards the spine. We're going to push the ground away from us. We're going to feel that stretch through the back. And then when we need to take a deep breath in, we're going to take it into our cow. Breathing out, gathering in that belly button up towards our spine. Good. And take a little breath in. Take the gaze all the way up. Let's go. Good, make sure you're not holding your breath. If you need to, make your breath noisy. So breathing out. And in. This time when we breathe out, we're going to gather in the pelvic floor from back to front. And we're going to hold this activation for as long as our breath out lasts. And as soon as we breathe in, we just want to release fully. Just trying to relax all those muscles around your bum. We're going to breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor, lift that back up towards the ceiling. Good. And take a deep breath in. It's really important to do pelvic floor exercises every single day. I am looking at you. Very important. For now and for the future. Breathing out, we're gathering in the pelvic floor from back to front, and I just want us to hold this position here. You're going to keep breathing. You're going to reach that pelvic floor, and I just want you to tighten and squeeze. So squeeze and relax, squeeze and relax, squeeze and relax in this position. We're going to do a count for 7, so stay where you are, and we're going to squeeze and release. Good. 6 and release. 5 and release. Make sure you're breathing. 4 and release. 3 and release. 2 and release. And 1. And now when we release, we're going to take a deep breath in, and we're going to lift our gaze up towards the ceiling. This time as we breathe out, we're going to gather in the pelvic floor. We're going to arch through the back. And I just want us to hold that pelvic floor activation for 20 seconds. So make sure you're breathing. We're not looking to go crazy with this pelvic floor activation. You just want to roughly hold it at 50% effort. You're just being really nice and gentle. Keep checking to make sure you've got it engaged. Good. And take a deep breath in now and relax. From here, we're going to come back down onto the ground. So come onto your side first of all. You might still have some issues with those deep core muscles, but don't worry. We're going to start strengthening those in a second. Make sure you can just about touch the backs of your heels with your fingertips. Make sure your feet are all roughly hip width apart. So if you do have 2 hands that come straight up and come all the way down, those heels are on the inside of your fingertips. Now we're going to gently just first of all rock through the pelvis, pushing it backwards and forwards. You're breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Deep breath in and out. Good. So now as we're breathing out, just don't really think about engaging through the stomach muscles at the same time. Nice and gently. Good. And so now, when we're breathing out, we're going to just lift the bum off the ground. We're peeling our spine vertebrae by vertebrae. We're squeezing the bum together. We've driven through those legs, and we're going to take it all the way down now. So we're coming into our glute bridges, rolling all the way up the spine vertebrae by vertebrae. So as we do this, bear in mind that the aim of this game is not to get our hips up as high as we can. We're not looking to go into some weird yoga back bend. All we're looking to do here is to strengthen up through this back part of our body. And we don't need to go high to do that. We just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Obviously, you want to get some height, right? But you don't need to go too high. Some of us, as soon as we start coming up, we scrunch through this lower back. And that is not good. So make sure these are nice and controlled. Good. Taking it all the way up, squeeze through that bum as well. Good. We use a lot of glute strength. So we're now trying to rebuild that back up. Come all the way up. Now we're going to stay here. And we're just going to squeeze those knees in. The little tiny squeezers. Let me show you what it looks like. So if you're coming up, you're just squeezing those knees in. You're pulsing them in. Really nice and gently pulsing, 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 pulsing. You should feel that really working those bum cheeks. It's a tiny, tiny movement. We don't expect our knees to touch together. We're just drawing them together. Good. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's roll all the way down now. This time, we're going to roll all the way up. And we're going to see how stable our hips are. So from here, try and stable yourself through the hips. We're going to take one foot off the ground and then the other. Roll it all the way down. If you feel like when you come up to this position, you're trying to get your hips up and it's just too painful or everything is wobbling all over the place, then just stick to normal glute bridges, taking it up and down. But for those of you who feel quite confident in this, we're just going to first of all take one foot off the ground and place the other one back down. Good, so rolling all the way back up. Steady those hips. Imagine if you had a glass of water on here, you don't want it spilling. Good. So it's less about the movement through those knees and it's more about how steady you keep your hips. Good. Remember to breathe the whole way through this. Got one more. Coming all the way up. Let's march first to one foot. Good. And then the other. Take it all the way down. Really nice. Let's take one knee in towards our chest, then the other one, and we're going to roll around the base of the spine. Good. Let's roll around first one way. Good. And then the other. Really nice. From here, we're going to start working now through those core muscles. So we want to think about now just trying to engage these core muscles and trying to keep them activated. So if you have your couple of fingers on those jutting out knobbly hip bones here, take them in a few inches towards your belly button and a few inches down towards your pelvis. We take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just gently think about, first of all, engaging through the pelvic floor, and at the same time, just trying to activate those lower abdominals. And what you should feel is a little bit of a tensing underneath your fingers. As you take a deep breath in, release. And let's try again. So I'm asking you to do this with the pelvic floor contraction because that often helps you get that feeling. But you should also be able to do this without that. So try both of them. And you should also notice as well that when you are breathing out and activating that core slightly, that your lower back might press down towards the ground. So we don't actively want to tilt our hips under to try and get our back towards the ground, but just be observant that's something that might happen. So from this position, with our bottom of our ribs and the tops of our pelvis drawn together and that lower abdominals nicely activated, we should be able to hold this and continue breathing. Hands are going to come down to the side and keeping our hips as steady as we can. You tell there's a theme here, steady hips. We're going to take 1 foot off the ground, roughly, keeping everything at 90 degrees. And as we breathe out, we're going to take it back down slowly towards the ground. Now this is where we really need to watch out for. It's when we switch over the legs. That's when we need to keep our hips really nice and steady. We also want to make sure that we've still got a little bit of activation through those stomach muscles at the same time. We're working these deep core muscles known as the transverse abdominis. It kind of acts like a bit like a corset. It wraps all the way around, and these are your deepest layer of your stomach muscles. Good. And these are the ones that are responsible for stability. It's always a good idea as well, just to have a quick feel, see what's going on with the stomach here. You notice any doming, so if your stomach comes up into a point, or if you're bread loafing, where the kind of the muscles pop up like this, then please, this exercise just isn't quite right for you yet. It can be an indicator that you can't manage the intra-abdominal pressure, so your internal pressure properly. So if you do a lot of breath holding, try and stop that, but continue breathing through these exercises. If you do want any help with that, then do feel free, drop me a message. I'll see what I can do to help. Okay, good. So from here, we're just going to start by dropping one knee out to the side, keeping the other knee straight up, and as you breathe out, that's when you're going to start moving that knee all the way back up. So you can have your hands down by your side or out by your shoulders if that really helps. So as you're doing this, and as that knee is coming down, you want to try and keep the pressure on your back nice and even, so that you're not lifting off one side or the other. Try and keep everything down nice and even. So breathing in as this knee flops out to the side, say flop, with control. And you're going to breathe out, think again about what's going on through those lower abdominals. Take a deep breath in, the other knee comes out, and it's going to come all the way back in again. So even if you can't feel anything going on around here, just focusing on this area is going to start building up those neural connections again. Good. Breathe out, take it all the way back up. Good. And over to the other side. Really nice. Let's pull that knee in towards our chest. Let's take the other knee in as well. And we're just going to flip our feet upside down, so as though we are standing on the ceiling. And using our hands, we're going to draw those knees in towards our elbows, stretching out through the front of the thighs. And this is also going to give us a really nice stretch through the back as well. Okay, let's come down now to the side. And I'm going to start, how we do on time. From here, I think, let's take it up into a workout, shall we? Yeah, why not? So, from where you are, try and get up without using your hands. Oh, don't feel like you're old. Try and get up, however you're sitting, without using your hands. It's going to serve you so well in the long run. Because think of all the times that you're holding a baby and you've got to have your hands on the baby, and so you're going to have to be able to stand up and get up and off the ground with a baby. So we've done loads of really nice work on conditioning and reconnecting through our body, and now we're actually going to start strengthening. So let me drop this blind down a little bit. There you go. Oh, I can never get rid of this line. It's very strange. So let's get the camera into position. I'm going to tell you how exactly this is going to work. You guys are going to grab your light weights that you have got ready, or your cans if you have them as well. Make sure that they are handy and nearby. Grab some water if you need to. And we're going to get started. We're going to take you through the warm-up first of all. Good. So for our warm-up, I just want us to start marching through the feet. So keep those toes on the ground and we're just lifting up through these heels. Good. So try and keep the hips pretty steady. What we're not looking to do is to start bouncing through those legs. That is a totally different class. Okay, and not one that I run. I wish I could. I'm just not a sort of sexy, dancey person. I'm pretty functional. Right, okay, so let's take it up and down. You are driving these feet up and down through here. You're coming up onto the toes, getting a really lovely stretch through our feet. Our feet are so neglected. Poor feet. They love this. They love this kind of stuff. Also hope we're doing this barefoot. Now, with the arms, we're going to drive these arms forward. We're driving through the heel of the hands. We're going to point these fingers downwards, outside, away from us. And we're going to take them back in. So we're going to come out and in. Keep those legs going. Good. So it can feel really hard with this one to get the right kind of timing. It's a bit like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. But let's stick with this. Good. So we're stretching out those arms. We're pulling these elbows back as well. We are just warming up through the legs, through the arms, through the shoulders. Okay, because I think you're doing well. We're going to take them from the front now and to the side. So through the front and to the side. Good. We're drawing these fingers back and down. We're driving through the heel of the hand as well. We're coming front and side. Now we're going to take it front, side and up. Good work. How many of you are in time? It can get quite tricky, can't it? Good. Don't forget as well to do an external rotation as you come forwards, pushing those fingers down towards the ground. Let's get one more in. Good work. Arms are going to come up into a cactus position, and with control, we're going to take the opposite shoulder to opposite knee, breathing out as we come down and in as we come back up. Good. So you want to try and have as much control with this as you can. Again, if you're feeling any kind of discomfort through your C-section scar, do hit me a line about C-section scar tissue massage. Really, really useful. It just helps down all that scar, it helps break down that scar tissue, which can sort of hamper your movements. Good. How are we feeling? Breathing out and in. Let's take the legs twice as wide as our shoulders. We're going to press out through the outsides of our feet, and we're just going to feel like we're twisting those knees in. We're creating torque, we're creating tension through this. Our lower part of our body, from our belly button down, is not going to move. Arms are coming out to the side, palms facing upwards. Open up through that chest. And we're just going to take it over to the side. Good. So we're now working these muscles around the spine. We're also getting to know our body a bit more. If you're finding the lower half of your body is moving, do not worry. That's totally normal. Let's take it over to the other side now. It can be really hard sometimes to try and fix one part of our body whilst we move the other one. Good. And now we're going to take it from one side to the other. This is a gentle movement. We're not trying to force the movement. Good. As well, when we're doing this, also think about lengthening up through the spine so you're standing up nice and tall. We'll take it into a side bend now. So the arm comes up and we're just bending through that top part. Again, make sure that the bottom half of you isn't moving. We sometimes have a tendency to kind of swing as we do this. Try and keep it nice and still. Feels a bit like a magic trick. Good, and over to the other side. How are your arms doing? I know some of you can find this a little bit tough on the shoulders as well, but that's good. And let's take it one side and then the other. And then guys, We are going to be ready to roll. So from when we come into the exercises, we are going to do 30 seconds exercise and 30 seconds rest. Then you've got a little bit of a break, chance to grab some water. And we're going to take it into 40 seconds exercise and 20 seconds break. Good work. Let's finish there. I'm going to set up my timer and we're going to get going. You guys are going to go and grab your weights. Let me know what you're using as well. I would love to hear. What have you guys got? All right, let's push this back. Try and give myself a little bit more space here. Fantastic. Okay. So we've got 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Let me start this timer. Got it positioned where I can see it. Fantastic. So, first exercise we have, I'm going to take you through this before we actually start. We've got boxing rolls. So you're going to come into a squat position. Wow, it's dinging at me. Okay. So you're going to come into a squat position. Don't worry, we've not started yet. I'm going to explain this first before we go into it. And imagine you've got your hands up, you've got the elbows in. You're just going to shift your weight from one foot to the other, coming down nice and low. If you feel like you've got any issues, you're experiencing any leaking or heaviness down here, definitely worth just hitting me up with a message or need for Women's Health Physio. If you want, you can take the legs in closer together, and that's going to help put less of a strain on your pelvic floor. If you're looking for more of a challenge, take it into a really wide sumo squat. But are you ready? Hands at the ready. We are going to come into our boxing squats in 3, 2, and 1. So we're rolling all the way through, down and under. Imagine you've got someone punching over your head. How many of you do boxing? It's a really good sport. Not really good postnatally. It does take a while to build up your core again. There's a lot of rotation in there. Good. So as you're doing this, try and keep that back nice and straight. Try and keep that weight in the heels. Got another 5 seconds. Again, try and keep some engagement through the stomach as well. And we've got 3, 2, and 1. Great stuff. 30 seconds break, and then we're going to take it. Got some squats going on. Squats are hugely important, and we see them featuring a lot in these workouts. So for our squats, feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart, you're going to have the arms out in front of us. We're going to take the elbows together as we squat down. We're going to take them apart as we squat up. Then as we squat down again, we're going to take them overhead and back down. So this is a movement with the arms. Let's go. We squat down, we take the elbows together, we stand up, they come apart. We squat down again, they come overhead. Good. So we're now working our shoulders. Good. As well as our bum. I mean, as parents, we do not have much time for working out. So you want to try and make sure that all the exercises we're doing are basically strengthening us up in as many different ways as we can. Good. Keep going. Got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next exercise, we're going to come into a reverse lunge. So, starting with both feet together with our feet. Just going to take a big step back and forwards with our arms. As we come back, we're going to pull our elbows back. We're going to stand up, pull them back again. So we're rowing back once and twice. Let's go. Stepping back with alternate legs. Good. And we've got 2 lunges or lunge pulses before we come all the way back up. Try and keep those elbows up nice and high. Good. Stepping back. Take it nice and slowly and with control. And you've got 5 more seconds. 3, 2, let's get 1 more in. And 1. What's next in our exercise? My memory's terrible at the moment. I've got no idea why. So next exercise, we've got a bent over row. So you actually want to come down so your back is almost parallel to the ground. Now, really important not to round over. We're going to try and keep a straight back. And we're going to take one arm up and then the other and then both and stand. So coming all the way down, one arm, then the other, and then both and stand. Let's go. We'll do this from this other angle. Coming down, slight bend in the knees. First one arm comes up, then the other, and then both. Good. This is super important because we often do a lot of this movement when we're picking things up and off the ground. So when we have kids, like imagine you're picking babies up out of their cot. Really nice. So try and keep that back up nice and tall. Good. You've got a 30-second break. How are we doing? What's our next exercise? Oh, I like this one. Calf raises with a lateral raise as well. So let's see. Okay, so you can see my feet. For this one, slight bend in the knees. You want to make sure your weight is balanced slightly forward as opposed to pushing your hips forward, taking the heels up and off. And as we come up, the arms are coming out to the side at shoulder width height. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Taking it up and down. Good. So we're strengthening through the feet now. We're working on our balance, which is super important. And we're also working on our shoulder strength. So shoulders are actually comparatively weak compared to our legs. We're so good at moving around this shoulder joint, but that also means that they're not as strong as our legs. Let's do one more. And relax. 30 seconds, I always think feels really quick, but you will soon see it in a second. We've got our side lunges and press. So we're going to have the foot. This is going to be sort of like an anchor point, and our legs are going to come down into a side lunge, sinking down into the legs. So we sink down, we're going to take both hands above the head. Let's go. We've got 30 seconds. So just keep working through this. Good, sinking down. You've got that foot pointed forwards. You want to have that knee tracking over the foot, but ideally that knee won't be coming over your toes. You've got 10 seconds left. Stretch it all the way up. Good. And again. Really nice. 3, 2, and 1. Next exercise. We're going to balance. It's another balancing exercise. Right leg is going to be our anchor. We're going to take the left leg out to the side. We can touch it back down to the ground. Arms are going to come out towards the side as well. And every single time we take the leg out, we're going to take it into a bicep curl. Okay, we've still got a 5-second break. So we're just going to work on moving that left leg for now. Let's get into position. The leg comes out and we curl the weights. So try and keep your balance. Make sure you're not pressing that kneecap through to the back of the knee. You want to have a really gentle bend. So imagine you are like, I don't know, just something that's not really straight. I need to work better on my analogies, don't I? But what we don't want to do is have things locked out. Good. And we've got a 30-second break. See what I mean is this, we're looking at my standing leg, sit with a slight bend in it. This, and if you can see, it's almost where the back of my leg is kind of pushing out, and I can feel my knee pushing into the back of my leg, and what I'm doing is I'm just hanging on the joint here. This, with a slight bend in the knee, means I have to use my muscles. Right, left leg is going to be our anchor. We're going to take the right leg out to the side. Arms are coming out for our bicep curls. Let's go. Good. Make sure you've got nice gentleness through that standing leg. Don't have to take it up too high. Your feet muscles are absolutely loving this. They're going, wow, we're really getting worked. And it's good. Also working through those shoulders again. Good, and working on hip stability. 3, 2, and 1. Round 1 is done. It's going to get harder, so make sure you grab some water. I'm going to set up our timer. And when you are ready, when you are ready, when I am ready, let's get going. I hope everyone is massively enjoying this weather as well. So the first exercise we have is we've got our squat boxing rings. We've still got 20 seconds before we start, so don't worry too much about this. As a reminder of this exercise, we're going to come into a squat position. We're going to hover down so that we're halfway down. This is a full squat, this is a half squat, and this is where we're going to stay. And we're just going to transfer our weight from one leg to the other. Let's go. Gosh. This one's actually dinging at me. I don't know why the other one wasn't dinging. I'll have to sort it out. So sinking down and up. Good, sinking down and up. It feels like it's too easy. You might want to take it into a really, really big sumo squat. Take those legs even wider. If it feels like it's too much for a pelvic floor, take it in. Take it in. Good, otherwise let's go. Imagine you're a boxer. Chin down. Yes. Who would you like to punch right now? So many people on my list. No, I'm just joking. I'm not violent. 3, 2, and 1. You've got your 20-second break. Next one we have is our squat with the squeeze. So I'll give you a quick demo. You're coming down and up. That's it. Okay, so you've got 5 seconds. So as you come down, squeezing those elbows together, and we're taking it up above our head. Are you ready? Let's go. Squeezing those elbows in. And as we come down again to our squat, we're taking those arms all the way up. So try if you can to get those thighs parallel to the ground. Good. Show you from here. Coming all the way down. Squeeze these elbows together. Can you get them to touch? Good work. Try and keep that weight through the heels as well. Good. Focus on it. If it feels like too much for the pelvic floor, again, take those feet in slightly. Got 5 more seconds. Keep up the work. Good stuff. We've got our reverse lunges with our rows. So we're going to start taking 1 foot back. We come down, we pull those elbows back and back again, and we stop over our legs. Keep those elbows up. Make sure you keep breathing. Let's go. Coming down and down and up. Good. Down, down and up. So make sure you're not holding your breath as you come back up into your standing position. Try and breathe out as you do. Good. Got 20 more seconds. Really nice. Pulling all the way back. Good. Driving everything forwards. You've got 10 more seconds. Keep up this good work. If it feels like it's too much, then slow things down. Get rid of the weights. And we're done to that exercise. Next one we've got a bent over, single then double row. As a reminder, I'm going to come down flat back, take 1 elbow up, 2nd elbow, 2 elbows, and then stand. You stand back up, squeeze those glutes. Let's go. Coming down, row, row, both rows, and stand. Coming down, row, row, and both rows, and stand. Try and keep some engagement through the core as well as you do this. Good, you've got 20 seconds. Good, this is really nice for strengthening these back muscles and also for opening up the chest. So for any of you who are breastfeeding or bottle feeding, you can really feel that stress and the strain that you've got through the chest. Good work. Next one we have got a calf raises with a lateral raise as well. So it's like we're trying to take off. Heels come off, arms come off to the ground. Reminds me of when people are just about to dive off the high diving board. Right, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Keep the knees nice and gentle as you take the heels up off the ground. Try and make sure that your weight is positioned over your hips and that when you come up, we're not pushing those hips forwards. We want to try and keep it nice and controlled, taking it up and taking it down. You've got 15 more seconds. So work through these feet, trying to get as much height as you can. Good. Really nice. Make sure you're breathing. Good. 20-second break. Use it wisely. We've got side lunge with press coming up. So this is where we come down to either side and we're taking these weights up above our head. Try and keep the elbows in if you can. Good. Right, 3 seconds. Let's go. Coming down to the side, stepping everything back in. Good stuff. Really nice. Coming all the way down and up. So you're reaching these weights up above your head. You're sinking down into that leg. Good. Really nice. We're almost done here, guys. I've just felt my my Fitbit go off to say I've done 10,000 steps today. Not often that I do 10,000 steps, but I went for a run this morning and that helped. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds. Keep it up. Keep it up. No chit chat, people. And good work. 20-second break. Do what you want. Keep moving. Make sure you're active. You can grab some water if you want to. You can wipe that sweat off your face. From here, our right leg is our anchor, and we're going to be taking the left leg out to the side. At the same time, we've got our bicep curls coming in and coming out. Are we ready? Let's go. Good. So you want to try and make sure that your body, the trunk of your body, isn't swooping from side to side. If you're doing this, not so good. Try and focus on keeping that trunk really nice and still. 15 seconds left. Breathe through it all. Good. Working on that hip stability. 3, 2, and 1. Your 20-second break. Make sure you're walking things out. You don't want to just suddenly stop doing any movement. Take little steps forwards and backwards. Hey, here's where the sexy salsa dancing's coming in. Move those hips, stretch things out. Let's get ready. Anchoring with the left, right leg's moving, and coming out and in. Guys, this is the last 40 seconds that we have. So let's make it a good one. Are you ready? Good. Keep moving, keep breathing, keep working on your balance. Taking the leg out to the side and back down. Good, you've got 15 seconds left, that is all. Good. You also feel some sweat dripping down my back. So gross. That is pretty disgusting, isn't it? And we've got 3, 2, and 1. And my children have invaded. Okay, so well done, guys. Let's just start by cooling everything down. Let's roll these shoulders backwards. Let's roll these shoulders forwards. Come on, boys, roll your shoulders forwards. Oh, I'm going to stop this timer as well. You can move him, it's fine. Sorry for the extra noise. And from here, oops, it's telling me that my time is over. Let's just stretch things out, shall we? So we're going to take these hips out, knees out to either side. Charles is still on the phone. Good. And let's take those knees in again. Good. Guys, I don't mind you being in here, but I'd like you to move out the way, please. Do you want to come into the sofa, Hector? Thank you, darling. Okay. From here, take the feet in, and we're just going to reach all the way down to one side. Make sure these knees are nice and gentle, you're not locking them out again. Coming all the way up, and all the way down to the other side. From here, I'm going to come down into a kneeling position. Oh, let's still go on the phone. And one knee forwards, other knee on the ground. Hector, please stop that, darling. Apologies for that short interlude. Right, so we'll finish off these stretches. Had child extraction. We're going to have one knee down on the ground, one knee up. Let's tilt this pelvis under, and we're just going to take a little stretch forwards. So you should feel a really nice stretch through the upper part of that thigh. You hear him rummaging around in the kitchen for snacks. Okay, let's take our weight backwards. We're going to sit back down on this heel. We're going to flip the toe upwards and keeping a nice straight long back. We're just going to take our chest down towards this knee. So it's really important as well. We're trying to feel the stretch at the back of this leg. Also want to just point these toes up. If you want to pull them back as well, you can, but we don't want to overstretch anything. So just take a few deep breaths here. Good, and let's change everything over. So we're switching over sides. Left knee is up, right knee is down. We're going to tilt those hips under, and we're just going to stretch forward slightly. So imagine feeling that stretch through that thigh there. Keeping the hips facing forwards as well. Good. If you want to take it even further forwards, you can, but just try and keep that pelvic tilt there as well. Just intensifies the stretch through here. We're going to take our bum down onto our heels nice and gently. We're going to sit down on it, and we're going to have this toe pulled up, straighten up through the back, and we're going to try and get our chest down towards our knee. So for me, this is as far as I can go. And if I pull this toe up, it just helps increase the stretch down this area. Good. Take both feet out in front of us, hands behind, and we're going to circle through the feet. First one way, and then the other. Clasping our hands in front of us, let's stretch out through the back now, dipping our chin in towards the chest.
I can't fix it.
Good, and we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to clasp our hands behind our back, and we're going to press up through the chest. Sitting up nice and tall, stretching through that head as well. And last but not least, just going to take a really nice deep breath in. And a really nice deep breath out. As we take this deep breath in, I want to be thankful of everything that we've got, of our bodies, our little ones, of this glorious sunshine. And you're going to breathe out all the stresses and anxieties that you might have. Great stuff. And last but not least, we'll stand up. And let's shake out this leg. Shake it out. Imagine you've got a small child on it that you're trying to get off. And the other leg as well. Shake it out through the ankle, then through more of the leg. And now with the hand, shake out the wrist, shake out the arm. And let's take it to the other side. Shake out the wrist and take out the arms. And guys, you are done. I'm going to position myself in front of my awful teenager, who is basically sitting there with his legs wide apart. Well done, guys. You've been absolutely fantastic. I hope your little ones behaved far better than mine have done. Apologies for the slight interruption in the middle of the video as well. Sometimes we do have it when you guys come and join us, which is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. I appreciate it for some of you as well. Not quite what you want, but you can just fast forward those bits. It's totally fine. This is what parent life is like, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Would love to hear how you found it. If you've booked through Hoop or Happity, then please do let me know what you think. If you've enjoyed it, please do leave me a review. And you can also leave me a review on Google as well if you Google the warrior method. Any questions, then please do drop me a note on WhatsApp, or you can also email me. Love having you at these sessions, and I look forward to next week's. See you later.